Hello, welcome to Transitions. I'm Antoinette Zloty, and I have as my guest today Connie Newman. Connie Newman is a lady who is a passionate advocate for older adults. And I met her a few years ago, and I am really delighted that she's here to talk about her journey, her insights, and also a vision about aging right here in Manitoba. So thank you for joining me.
I love being here. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. So, okay, people look at people who are older, like ourselves, and they really don't think about us as the younger person that we were starting off in our childhood and so on. So was there anything along the way, like where did you grow up, and what were you like as a younger person?
If people were to look at me today and what I'm doing today, they'd wonder who I was when I was 12 years old. I grew up born and raised in Winnipeg. I grew up in Norwood, St. Boniface, went to Holy Cross School, graduated out of the diocesan high school, first graduating class. Then I went from there to St. Paul's College, University of Manitoba, and I'm very proud today that there's 7 girls that we went to grade school with, and we see each other at least twice a year, just staying connections. And the other day, one of them said to me, "Do you know we've been together for over 70 years?" And I stopped, and that's pretty powerful from a connection point of view.
That is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So were they some influences then along the way that you think led you into working with the Manitoba Association for Senior Communities?
I'd say at this time they were just moral support. We hung out together in our early years. Today, my biggest influence were the principals in the schools that I taught at, and told me more often than not I could lead. So I spent 34 years with junior high students, and I remind them all I am who I am today because I survived 34 years and I loved every minute of it.
Of teaching.
Yes.
So what subject did you teach, by the way?
I started off mathematics, sciences, gifted education. I was in the right place at the right time for computer technology, I suppose. And then I was told, strongly suggested I get on the administrative principal, vice principal track, and that's what I did.
Do you remember the year you retired?
Sure, 2005.
2005.
I'm not retired.
And you're not retired.
I'm not retired.
I meant from being vice principal.
Yeah, I retired as a principal in St. James, Assiniboine. 2005, I was headhunted to work with intergenerational older adults and students, children.
Yeah.
And then I was headhunted to do what I do now. And I've been doing it ever since. And a lot of it has to do with community development. Classroom is a community. And I believe back in the day that takes a whole community to look after children. Well, today I'm saying it takes a whole community to look after older adults, elders. We can't do it on our own.
Well, that's an interesting spin, because you're probably the first person that I've heard actually say that and draw that kind of analogy to the fact that you do need your communities or communities behind older adults.
Absolutely, absolutely. We can't do it all. We can't expect the government to do it all. We all have to work together. I mean, back in the day, I helped the kids build a skate park in St. James. I needed to get them off the street because they were riding skateboards on the street, so we built a skate park. Today, I'm helping older adult groups maintain connections in senior centers, seniors groups, finding spaces to meet, those kinds of things. Same thing.
That's wonderful. Navigating the social service system, healthcare, now that is really a challenge, eh?
Absolutely.
For a lot of us seniors. And so being connected to a group is probably not a bad idea to stay connected to, right? To hear about others' experiences, how they dealt with them.
One of the foundations in classroom learning is learning from each other. The teacher is the guide, as well as providing new information. Today, we need to learn from each other, but we have to watch Google, because we need to be able to evaluate what we're reading online. And knowledge is power. And people who listen to me talk often, that's my favorite. Somewhere we thought we don't have to continue to learn, but we do. And there's so much information out there. We're in a province, in a city, where there's a lot of services out there, but we don't know where to get them. We don't know who to contact. And I'm going to put a plug into anybody in Manitoba, anybody in Canada can dial 211 and ask the navigator that answers the phone what you're looking for. They have trained in the province of Manitoba. We have, through the health system, navigators, and we have senior resource coordinators, probably right next to where we're living, that if you got a hold of them, they'd help the older adult stay healthy, where exercise programs are, income tax, home maintenance. So there's a lot of information out there that we older adult can get from the phone or from a local senior center.
I remember where there was housing guarantee income, so that it was a little bit better for people. A lot of women who had stayed at home to look after their kids and didn't get a chance to actually be out there working and accumulating retirement income. So do you think that that issue around access to housing is really out there right now? Is that one of the top 6 issues facing seniors? Access to housing?
Yes.
Yeah?
Our demographics have changed. When I grew up with my girlfriends from school and university, my mom stayed at home. She was a stay-at-home mom.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that was the way life was. Fast forward 60 years, many single parents, many dual families, and then as we age, we lose our partner, because life doesn't last forever. We lose our partner, we lose our friends, and we're alone. And when you're alone, your expenses are your own. When you're with a partner or a husband or a wife, you were splitting the expenses. So today, for many older single people, they're having difficulty making ends meet, because it's many of them women who didn't contribute to, as you referenced, a pension plan. And if they don't make right decisions when they retire, then it's difficult, real difficult. The biggest one at the top of the list is transportation for an older person, because depending upon where you live, and if you no longer drive, how are you going to get groceries? How are you going to get to the bank? How are you going to get to your medical appointments? So to all the listeners out there, it's very important that if you're going to church on a Sunday and you're driving in a car and you've got a space for somebody else, ask your neighbor. The same when we go to church, when we go to groceries, we need to start and continue to help those that are in our community?
I think one of the, certainly one of the things that come to mind is the concept of, say, a virtual co-op. A
Yes.
virtual co-op whereby you know, register your name. These are the things I'm interested in. If you're interested in these, and so a lot of the what used to be senior centers, I think there's still how many?
90
90 senior
throughout
centers,
Manitoba. Throughout Manitoba.
They were working on doing some of that networking. They didn't call it a virtual co-op, but
No.
you know, sometimes people sort of understand words like cooperatives or what have you a little bit better, and oh my goodness, yeah. Like even sharing of caregiving responsibility.
Absolutely.
I take care of your mom, you take care of my mom, and back and forth. When my mom was ill there before she passed. That was one of the things that I thought was really, really missing, is that you are disconnected from
Absolutely.
others, right?
Absolutely.
So there are a lot of great opportunities out there for communities to come up with new and generate new ideas to get people better connected, right?
And that's one of the functions of our member centers is to connection. We're doing a whole 3, 4, 5 years on social prescribing, involving the healthcare community. It's a worldwide movement. United Kingdom, it's entrenched in what's going on there, where your healthcare provider has a tool, prescription, to give to an older person to connect them to services in the wellness services in the community. And so that now we're hoping in Manitoba, and we're on that pathway, that our family healthcare providers, family physicians, see the value of a patient comes in, really doesn't need medication, needs a connection to other older adults because they could be lonely, they could be isolated, they can no longer do home maintenance, those kinds of things. So we're hoping through social prescription that wellness aspect comes from healthcare providers.
There are people who are in larger houses right now who could well have shared that house with others, or even younger people who could share their house with an older person in their family, right? But somehow, don't you find that when the system kind of generates these ideas, like social prescribing is one of them, and even handy transit and so on, all these things didn't exist before. So hopefully some new programs come about whereby they could support some of the younger people in the family to get that. They used to call it a granny suite.
It's still there. Still there.
It's okay. Now, are there opportunities like grants for people to apply so that they can offer it to an older person, like where they can refurbish their house a little bit to accommodate an older person?
This is where you get into, or we get into, the bylaws and procedures at the municipal level, the provincial level, and the federal level. And is there money out there? All of our politicians are, well, 90% are aware that housing and transportation is an issue. Are there grants out there or relief of some taxes? Yes, but the idea has to come from either a developer or a group of older adults. We have in Winnipeg right now a couple of larger co-ops of sorts, and I hesitate to use that word because it's legally binding because they've got rules around co-ops. But where older adults, 3 or 4, are housed in one larger home. We've got some cultures in Winnipeg where they got 3 generations in one house. A very large home, and
That's true.
mom and dad are in one sort of side suite, granny suite. The family, the core family, is in the main part of the house. So it's happening. And I'm going to go back to knowledge is power. If you're interested in that, ask. I have every now and then, I've got a gentleman that phones me about twice a year. Connie, what's happening now? What are we doing? Who should I talk to? Because he's in a position where he's done a lot of that developing and he knows how to do it. So before he's no longer in our world, we got to pick his brain.
Excellent. Excellent. I'd like to see the stats around improving access to housing for older adults. That'd be interesting too.
Absolutely. And
for that to be tracked.
In my world, I'm hearing all kinds of what are the outcomes, and we've been talking that since I left education, so 15 years. They're very hard to track. Personally, I don't want housing development slowed down because we need to get the right stats.
Right.
That becomes a problem.
Yeah.
I think what we all have to realize, we're living longer. I've outlived my mom and dad already, and that's happening in a lot of areas. And our society, or Manitoba, was not ready for the number of older adults that exist today, and for the next 20 years, there's more of us over the age of 65 than there are teenagers. That directly impacts the workforce. Directly. So we got to do things different. And one of them, in my world, is taking care of your neighbor. Be supportive. And that doesn't mean always doing the grunt work. It means being nice, being kind, say hello, because we all need that positive in our life.
What would you envision in terms of, in another, 10 years, what would you like to see?
At the top of my list, it would be that people are positive, people are kind, people smile, children and grandchildren write grandma, grandpa, the senior in their family a note. They call them. There are so many people today that are isolated because they have no one, or their family is living in the other side of the world. And that direct contact to me is huge. We have 8,000 nonprofits in Canada, 8,000. And they're all doing awesome work, and yet we don't know that they're out there. We get older and we get disconnected. And I know today that there are a lot of people doing a lot of awesome work out there. And if I am in need, I need to pick up the phone and call. I am my own boss. I cannot be waiting for somebody else to take care of me, because when that happens, it's a whole different lifestyle. So that today, 5 years from now, I hope I'm still making my own decisions. I hope I know who to call, I know where to go to get help, and I need to acknowledge it. There are many of us out there who probably need a hearing aid, but refuse to go get tested. Or I was talking to a gentleman yesterday at lunch. He's going to have his hearing tested, and he is very close to having hearing aids, but he doesn't want them because they don't look good. So to all the listeners out there who are older, be aware. If your hearing is impacted, you could be on the dementia path. If your hearing is impacted, there's a dementia, shingles we found out recently. I know it's costly, but shingles could delay the onset of dementia. So there's a lot of information out there that older adults have to find. I've got a lovely lady that I caregive for, and I keep saying to her, who's the boss? She'll say to me, I am. So then make the decision, because nobody is grounded in making my decisions, and I have to make the decision. I should be making the decision to exercise, to walk, to all of those. I mean, but we don't do what's good for us. And then we need help. Well,
so I kind of would wonder too, like for me, I keep hearing that it's very important to engage youth. It's very important to get youth at the table. But I find that unlike a lot of older people who like to spend a lot of time one-on-one talking, as we're, having a conversation right now, there are a lot of kids who are glued to their communication device, like their phones
Digital.
and so on.
Digital world.
And in Quebec, they're banning all those devices during school hours, period, to get the kids talking again, so that these two aren't talking with the cell phones. Meanwhile, somebody is sitting over there and would love to be a part of that conversation. It's almost sort of like a privacy within a room of people. So, are you finding, though, that there is a little resistance in older adults to pick it up? And then, on the other hand, we've got the youth using it lots. And then there's this, oh, I don't know, I don't want to, I don't really want it. Like there's this difference in generational attitudes towards technology. Because technology isn't going to go away, right?
That was my hesitation. Technology is not going away.
Yeah.
We are in a digital world. I remember when calculators walked into a classroom and the uproar that happened around the use of calculators to do mathematics. Was it the best? Has it proven right or wrong? I don't know. I see digital, if we don't grab it and we set parameters around use, it will take charge. And the problem with that is the people that are using the digital don't know how to use it appropriately. Because it's moving so fast. And we talked earlier about chat GPT. I mean, that's another tool that's out there. I grab it, I use it where I can. For young people, I mean, I've got a daughter who, she's tuned into digital. So am I to a degree, but there's got to be limits, because we got to do this type of thing. We've got to make eye contact. I've got some young people that are working with older adults to help them bridge the digital divide. So that becomes important too. We really believe in intergenerational projects. How can we help younger people? And it could be a 45-year-old. Making pierogies is important. Not everything is digital. And the connecting of the generations is powerful. We got to do more of that, because some older adults have no younger people to connect to.
So do you think that maybe possibly incorporating some intergenerational studies in schools would be a good idea? Like where there is a tangible requirement for the kids to get out there and actually be a part or reach out to seniors community or do something really meaningful with somebody who's 60 years older than they are.
We're doing that now. We provide seniors groups with small grants. I believe you feed them and they'll come. So if you provide food and we pay for the food through a grant, you're going to see that positive connection. I mean, this past fiscal year, we gave out and strongly encourage grants to bring the generations together. So it's possible. We've got some neat results coming out of those, and young people continuing to meet with the older adult and saying hi at the park or saying hi at an event, because that was important. And that all started by strongly encouraging two generations to meet.
Have you ever had a situation where do you have grandchildren?
No.
Oh, okay. No grands yet. Grandbabies.
I won't. But anyway.
No, you
No,
won't be
I got
having
kids
any?
across the way where there's adopted grandchildren, I suppose.
Yeah, so I don't have any grandchildren yet either. So, but I do like interacting with people of all ages, and so that's a positive thing for me. Would there be anything that you would change in the way you were with your elders back when you were, say, 13?
I would say no, because I was fortunate. I lived on the same street as my grandparents. So when I got home from school, I walked down the street. Grandpa took us to the local store, and I got 5-cent candy. And that created a bond between Grandpa and I. And my grandmother would constantly say, "Don't take her to the store," because we knew we were getting treats. That kind of bond, I would never change that. And I encourage that with the people around me. I've got 2 young girls living across the way from me. And you go to the dollar store and you get soap bubbles and you get things that don't cost a lot of money, but provides an opportunity for that connection between those younger and myself. Even with their parents, we've got a cross the garden fence understanding. And if I need Dad to help me do something, he's probably 30 years younger than I am, he's right there, because we do that. And
sharing.
People everywhere can do that. And goes back to be kind.
Yes.
Be nice.
Very nice. Very good. Just a quick note before I turn to our viewers at home. 2 things. One of them is I thought right away, I've never thought of this before, about the separation immigration happens to impose upon generations, because I did leave my grandparents behind. I came here in 1968, and I was just a teenager at the time, and so, I hear you, because I lived close to some of them, and I understand the importance of that proximity, and so we need to sort of try to bring people closer together, and you've done a wonderful job of giving us some strategies for us to work on within our respective communities.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Transitions. Connie, it's been a pleasure speaking with you.
It's been great being here.
And to our viewers at home, we really appreciate you joining us. Please go to the website, and also check us out on YouTube and see if maybe you could find something that you saw before that you really liked, and then, or maybe there's some episodes that you haven't seen yet. So thanks for joining us, and see you again another time.